Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. We're going to get another lesson out of Mike's C52. This fuel hose up here, still in pretty good shape. It moves, it's flexible. When I reach in here, that one is stiff as a board and I don't trust it. So we're going to replace it. Now, C-Series, Super 1050, the XP direct drives all have this style tank. You got a bunch of screws on the front. If your tank doesn't leak, don't touch those screws, please. For your own sake, please do not. There's a so much easier way of doing this. This tank is held on by a whopping 4 screws. One there, one there, one there, and the one there that's missing. So this tank's held on by 3 screws. Let's take it off. Let's do this the easy way. Now, most of the time, the guy on eBay, Custom Chainsaw Parts, has reproduction gaskets. And they're only about 10 or 12 bucks a piece. It's not a terrible price at all. But I have found that the material they're made out of is not impervious to fuel. If you use a gasket sealer, you'll probably be okay. But again, if you got a tank that doesn't leak, why waste all the time and risk breaking a bunch of those tiny little screws? This way is much easier. Now, if this upper hose was a stiff piece of crap, we'd just cut it anywhere. But because it's not, I'm going to try and get it off the car without damaging it. There we go. Now, watch this. There's your tank. How easy is that? So, that is a Homelite hose. That green stripe's the dead giveaway. So let me get some of the garbage off of here. So we don't want to risk that. I'll get this all cleaned up later, but no point in wasting video time with too much of it. Okay. So let's see if we can get that hose off without wrecking it. It's not the end of the world if not, but I just don't like to replace things that don't need to be replaced. There we go. Still in good shape. Now, that fitting has been the consternation of a lot of guys. What you don't want to do is that. You'll round it off every time. And you'll probably even round it off doing that. Get yourself your 6-point 5/16 socket, and quite frankly, the impact driver makes this a hell of a lot easier. You can do it with a ratchet, but the driver, the hammer action is better. I'm going to go forward and try and tighten it just a smidge. Watch this. Now I am going to seriously laugh if the one time, the first time that's never worked, or not worked. That is hilarious. And of course, it would be on a video. Okay folks, so what happened here was my failure to pay attention to what was actually happening. At this point that I'm hammering, I thought I had rounded the edges enough that it just wasn't dropping down. In reality, as you're going to see, the damn impact socket wasn't deep enough to clear the fuel barb part of this. And therefore, yeah, as I'm hammering right here, instead of reforming the edges of that fitting, I'm just mushrooming down the fuel barb a little bit. So, as you're going to see here, the socket just wasn't right for the job. And what I didn't realize is it doesn't have enough relief in there to sit down all the way. So that was a stupid mistake. Thankfully, I have one that will, and I had a spare tank for sale that I'm now going to liberate this fitting from. So what I was saying before is if you go forward just a little bit and then back, it'll break it loose. There we go. I don't want to lose this fuel filter down in here. Come on, baby. That one's actually still in reasonable shape. So anyway, stupid mistake aside, now you can see it came out with no damage. What you see is grease and stuff that's been pushed around there. There's no damage to it. Obviously you want to be careful. You don't want to just hammer away, and you don't want to use a worn out socket, and preferably an impact socket that's deep enough. You can see I didn't pay attention, and I sure should have. But I still stand by what I said. This is the most effective way I've found to get one out. And until I wrecked one with a socket that wouldn't sit all the way, I've never failed to get one out this way. I mean, in a worst case scenario, you could always carefully torch this and all that, but that should definitely be a worst case scenario because, well, you're torching a fuel tank. That can be bad. So anyway, mistake aside, that's the easiest way I'm aware of to get this fitting out and replace that fuel hose and not cause a fuel tank leak and not potentially break a whole bunch of these screws off.